touching upon like very, very interesting and very like nuanced and non-trivial problems here. Like one of the things is like, can I make a counterfactual estimation? So maybe you would have gotten these products purchases even without me doing any of that. So can I answer this counterfactual question that if I don't show this recommendation, if I don't do this, then what would have happened otherwise? And now because I'm doing it, this is the delta you're seeing. So this causal attribution that this is happening because like causally, it's a causal link, that it's not a correlation that is just happening. It's like, because I made this change, then this is exactly how the delta is attributed back to me. So I think this causal attribution is an important problem. And we've done a lot of research recent years around like, how do we causally attribute this? One of the simple ways to start with are just A/B testing, right? That you have a user segment, you divide it into control and treatment. For control, you don't make the change. For treatment, you make the change and then see, okay, there's a delta. The purchase rate for my treatment is 2% more than the purchase rate for my control. And that I can take a attribution, right? Because the only difference between control and treatment is this delta change. I have 100 users, 50 users see control, which is variant A, 50 users see treatment, which is variant B. The only difference between A and B is this minor change which I made. And now this is giving me a delta jump in some of these conversions, some of these click-through. So now I can like maybe correlate it back to, hey, this is the attribution that this is happening because of this. Now, again, for a lot of these things, we can do these A/B tests. For a lot of these things, we cannot do an A/B test because it's not always clean to divide users into segments. And again, if you're Amazon, right, I cannot stop one product from being shown to you. So if I'm trying out a new difference across some of my sellers, then it's not very easy to A/B test. So now what we're doing is we're starting to have this counterfactual prediction. I mean, I think this is where a lot of work has been happening in the healthcare domain, like causal inference in healthcare. They're saying that if I give you this treatment right now, then what would have been your outlook for the disease progression? And if I don't give it, then this is what would have happened. Or if I give you drug 2, then this is what happens. So I cannot give you both the drugs as a user, right? I can only maybe randomize. Some users get this, some users get that. And then I can estimate from that. So there is a lot of like this counterfactual estimation as a problem. So there's a lot of like stats and time series modeling involved there, which says that, hey, this is a trend which would have happened over a period of time. And now I can say that because of my intervention is you making that change. Because of my intervention, now this is the other time series, and you can look at the delta. Now there's a lot of seasonal effects, like maybe like it's just Independence Day is coming up and people are buying more of these anyway. So how do you account for that and don't take credit for that, right? I mean, maybe like people already start purchasing 20% more and your model gives you plus 25%. So you shouldn't take credit for that plus 25%. Instead, take it for plus 5%. Or maybe there's a general trend. I mean, recession coming in, people are spending less. So you start seeing a dip anyway, right? So how do you account for these things? So if you look at like, there are a lot of libraries like Profit from Facebook, a machine learning group. It's a library which does this time series forecasting. And a lot of work has gone into how do you account for some seasonal effect? How do you account for some general variations in these time series? And then can you attribute the delta back to your change? So my broad answer is like a lot of A/B testing, counterfactual estimation is another tool. And then looking at time series predictions is like a third option, which people usually have to make these estimates.